Baseball is back. Spring training has been underway, but the Grapefruit Games actually begin tomorrow, Saturday, February 23rd, and that means the Bronx Bombers are ready to go. Can't think of a better opponent for the Pinstripers than their rival, the Boston Red Sox, to kick off the spring. First pitch is 1:05 p.m. at Fort Myers, Florida. With that said, here are my top 10 storylines for the Yankees in spring training. Coming in at number 10, the forgotten man, Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury is a big question mark heading into spring after being on the disabled list for the entire 2018 season and undergoing August hip surgery. If he's healthy and looks decent in games, the Yankees will try to trade him, although to do so, they'll probably have to eat most of the $47 million that's still remaining on his contract. They'll also have to hope that Ellsbury will waive his no-trade clause for a chance to play elsewhere. Some rumors of late that Ellsbury could be shipped out to San Francisco for pitcher Johnny Cueto. I would do that move. Number 9, how about a contract extension for Dellin Betances? It will be interesting to hear from Betances if the Yankees tried to sign him to a contract extension in the offseason, if he's open to talks this spring, or if he's already decided to test the open market next season when he can file for free agency. If the Yanks tried and failed to lock up Betances, who is coming off his 3rd great season and 4 full seasons as a big leaguer, maybe that's why management can give closer money to 2 standout relievers who figure to be setup options for them over the next few seasons. Lefty Zach Britton, 3 years, $39 million, and righty Adam Ottavino, 3 years, $27 million. The Yankees would look smart getting Betances signed this spring because he's a big reason why their deep bullpen was so deep and figures to be one of the best in baseball again. He's a homegrown Yankee all-star from Brooklyn. Coming in at number 8 on my top 10 storylines to look out for during Yankee spring training is, what will the Yankees do with Aaron Hicks? Like Betances, Hicks can become a free agent after the 2019 season too, and he's become a very valuable asset over the last 2 seasons. The Yanks greatly value Hicks, who offers good power from both sides of the plate, tremendous plate discipline, good speed, great defense in center, and a strong throwing arm. The Yanks can end this possible drama this spring by locking up Hicks, but he could be a very pricey free agent because he's a better all-around center fielder than A.J. Pollock, who used free agency this offseason to get a 4-year, $55 million contract from the L.A. Dodgers. I expect this season to likely be the last for Hicks and Pinstripes. Maybe the Yanks will trade him after all. If they do, the number 7 reason on our list would be a big reason why. We'll find out in spring training if Clint Frazier plays his way into being a left field option at the start of the season, either as a starter or platooning with the aging Brett Gardner, who re-signed with the Yanks for 1 season after having a down 2018 campaign. First off, Frazier needs to prove that he's healthy after missing most of last season due to concussion issues that first started in a 2018 spring training game. Then he probably needs to have a great spring to avoid being optioned to AAA. Frazier probably has no shot of sticking with the Yankees if they go with 13 pitchers, but he could be the guy in 2020 if he plays his way into the mix in 2019, especially in center, where he could replace Aaron Hicks. Speaking of up-and-coming Bronx Bomber stars, how about Rookie of the Year runner-up, Miguel Andujar. Right now, he's the starting third baseman. We know he can hit, but the jury is still out on his defense. The Yanks keep saying Andujar improved a lot last season at third, and he'll continue to get better. I don't believe that they believe this. Andujar deserves all kinds of praise for what he did last season as a rookie. The Yanks weren't counting on him at the start of the season. Then he ended up hitting .291 with 24 homers and 71 RBI as their starter at third base. That all occurred after the Yanks traded for Brandon Drury during spring training because management was convinced that Andujar wasn't big league ready. Andujar's defense was very shaky at times, but he made up for it by being one of the most consistent hitters in one of baseball's best lineups. The best spots for Andujar appear to be left field or first base, so maybe he gets some time at one or both of those spots during spring training and or practice games, of course. The Yanks have nothing to lose giving Andujar some looks at both spots during the spring. Andujar comes in at number 6. The 5th spot goes to a guy that could challenge him for some playing time because this guy plays defense. I'm not convinced that the Yanks will pay DJ LeMahieu $24 million over the next 2 seasons to be a frequently used utility infielder who plays about half the time as a fill-in for 2 of last season's best rookies, second baseman Gleyber Torres and, of course, at third base, Miguel Andujar. The Yankees surely have something else in mind for LeMahieu, a former National League batting champ who is one of the best defensive second basemen in baseball. Sooner or later, LeMahieu probably will end up starting at second, with Torres shifting maybe to third, and Andujar moving from third to first or third to left, or maybe even to another team. Number 4 on my top 10 Yankee storyline for the spring coming up is, how about the new shortstop, the new interim shortstop, while Didi Gregorius works his way back from Tommy John surgery. What can the Yanks get from Troy Tulowitzki? The Yanks are hopeful that Tulowitzki will prove in spring training that not only can he hold the fort down at shortstop until Didi returns, but can also be an impact player again. First off, Tulowitzki needs to stay healthy, as he's returning after missing the entire 2018 season, rehabbing from surgeries that removed bone spurs from both of his feet. He impressed scouts in a showcase workout in December after he was released by the Toronto Blue Jays. But how he looks in spring training games will be much more telling for the Yankees. We won't find out this spring if Tulowitzki can be counted on for offensive production and steady defense for a few months, but it could reveal that he's definitely not the short-term solution that the Yankees might think he is. I think he'll be good. I love the move by the Bronx Bombers. Number 3, will Giancarlo Stanton change his stance again? Stanton stuck with his very pronounced closed batting stance last season, and it led to his splits being very different for the Yanks. He had great numbers against left-handed pitching. He hit .319, 13 homers, but a lot of struggles against righties, .249 average, even though he did hit 25 home runs. Spring training is a time to experiment, so maybe Stanton switches things up in an attempt to cut down on his strikeouts. He had a lot of them. I think he'll be better in pinstripes in year 2. Most big-name players often are. We're down to the final 2 spots, and how about competition for those 2? And it comes in the form of the first base position. Will Greg Bird be the prospect the Yanks thought he was going to be? Bird's future with the Yanks is totally unpredictable because he's an immensely talented lefty swinging slugger who's mostly been hurt or unproductive since his impressive first season as a rookie in 2015. Heading into spring training, Bird is second on the first base depth chart behind Luke Voit. But this could change before the Yanks break camp. It wouldn't be shocking if Bird opens the season as a starter or platooning with Voit, although that would mean that he has to stay healthy and produce this spring. Also, it's possible that Bird could begin the season in AAA if he has a terrible spring, because he still can be optioned down to AAA. Jury is still out on Bird, but man, oh man, I do love that swing, and he's showing too in the playoffs 2 years ago. Aside from his running of the bases, he had me excited. And the top spot on my top 10 storylines for the Bronx Bombers this spring is Luke Voit. Is this guy for real? We probably won't find out until the regular season if Voit's nobody saw it coming. .333 average, 14 homers, and 33 RBI in 39 games with the Yanks late last season will lead to more big production, or if the 2018 trade deadline pickup from St. Louis will turn out to be a flash in the pan. He'll probably be the starter at first base going into the regular season unless he has an atrocious spring or gets hurt. So pumped to have baseball back. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.